Two sisters, Hannah and Minnie Gluck, lived in a small cottage on an acre of ground near the river Tiza. The sisters took produce from their large garden and egg from their poultry to market. But the Gluck sisters were not satisfied. They were a greedy pair whose aim in life was to become rich. Winter came earlier that year. Frost covered the ground and bids huddled near the cottage chimneys to keep warm. On a blustery day, Marco hurried down the country road. He wore flimsy clothes, a broken hat, and carried a traveler bag over his high shoulder. Marco's one aim in life on that cold day was to eat without working for a meal. Marco surveyed the Gluck sisters' home, that from the thatched roof to the whitewashed walls and the pen of fat honking grease nearby, and smiled.
To find a meal, that's why he took. On this journey, he'll never have to live.
Marco rapped at the cottage door. Now the Gluck sisters had not prospered by being fools. They were sharp as needles. The sisters took one look at Marco with his handkerchief around his neck and the bag slung over his shoulder and made up their minds. He was a rich gypsy. They began to figure out how they could separate Marco from his money.
Lend me some water. I will be grateful, you see.
We will lend you water if you have mercy.
Come into the house, the place home to our mouse.
Marco saw Hannah and Minnie eyeing his traveling bag and guessed they thought money was in it. So he made up his mind to outsmart them. He took off his hat, but he did not remove his bag from his shoulder.
We're about to sit down for our evening meal. If you don't mind, would you like to have some eel?
Cabbage. I dislike it. My mom used to make it. I dream it unless I got some gaulish.
So Hannah and Minnie set to work at once, browning meat and slicing onions for goulash. Marco took a seat at his table and set himself up for business. As the goulash was handed around, Marco and the Gluck sisters began to get acquainted.
Are you a fiddler or a house trader?
I do not favor house traders, neither fiddlers. No, as the thinker.
He think he ran his stand with his hand in the sand.
Fruit and meat are good to eat, and veggies and fish should fill your dish. But sugar and grain will cause you pain. When it comes from a packet, your diet should be like it.
When the meal was finished, Hannah and Minnie washed the pots and pans while Marco entertained them by singing gypsy songs and playing with their old dog Fritz.
You must be worn down from traveling. Come in our cabin and hear the ring. You're welcome to spend the night in the shed behind the light.
I will catch a cold. The temperature goes up and down. It is that season.
Matters were soon settled, and Marco nestled down with two feathered ticks before the cottage fireplace. The fire had been banked for the night. Marco's pillowed his head on his traveling bag and went to sleep with a satisfied mind, because he outsmarted the Gluck sisters. Now Minnie Gluck had an eye for snooping. At midnight, while Hannah dreamed dreams of getting rich, Minnie crept from her bed. She planned to see what was in Marco's traveling bag, but Marco expected company, and he went to sleep with one eye open. Minnie came creeping. Marco heard her.
That would hinder my thinking, because my eyes are stinking.
The Gluck sisters spared no effort in cooking and baking that day. They were determined to make Marco comfortably until they could sneak his traveling bag from him.
If you bring a little, you might find some thick brittle. The wood is what I require, the food is what I desire.
If you will just move the table and chair so you can breathe some air.
Marco was so proud to be outsmarting the sisters, he barely noticed how heavy the furniture was.
I guess this food doesn't measure up to the meal because Marco forgot to buy an eel. This present enough, or it's just a bluff?
There might be gold in that old bag before you look under the flat.
I hear about the gypsy who carry around a sack of jam. The people who know this world are richer than them. It seems you are a thinker, that you are tinker. It favors us a little thinking, if you all went clinking.
I've been thinking that a cottage is warmer than an open road. It seems I stand to remember about the river road.
I wonder what might be inside so I can have it slide.
Why fly? Floating in gold might be inside. A pot of gold I have beside.
Maybe it would be because it shouldn't, maybe it wouldn't. So I shouldn't.
Later, the sisters took Marco for a stroll around their acre. A cold wind blew.
This place is nothing but trouble, the opposite of a bubble. Only this morning the old wooden well bucket fell into pieces its shell. Someone will have to tie, anyone willing to try. New bucket on the rope, so this is the hope.
Just let me to the well so I can spell. I'll tie on the bucket so I can go to the market.
They went at once to the well where the new bucket sat. Marco sized up the situation. When Hannah and Minnie returned to the college, he hauled out the well rope and found the remains of the old bucket. Then he set the new bucket beside him while he undid the old one. But Marco was not handy at his job of work because he was out of practice. His fingers were cold and stiff. When he tried to untie the knot in the rope, his elbow hit the bucket into the well. Marco yelled for help, and the sisters ran out to help him.
Why do you suppose he went down the well? We can say he fell.
Are you thinking down there? Because I'm thinking up here.
Get me out! Get me out! Get me out of here before I disappear.
Hand up your traveling bag to us.
Marco was exhausted from carrying firewood, moving furniture, and falling into the well. But he wasn't too tired to fold his traveling bag under his head when he settled down to sleep that night. He knew that bag was the reason he was inside a warm cottage. Eating like a king, day came again. The sight of breakfast on the table was pleasant as flowers to Marco. Go.
Cooking is good because it's food. This out to be against the law because I got it out of the cat paw.
We are proud to have you visit us. It's just we are having a little fuss. It isn't every day a thinker comes down from the room.
I wonder if the bags under the flag would hold a pot of gold that can be full.
Maybe it would, and maybe it wouldn't.
Marco was tired from eating his breakfast, so he settled down for a nap. Next, he opened his eyes when he found the fire and the cottage cold. Hannah and Minnie stood glum-faced.
The chimney won't draw so that the cat keep in his paw.
I would dawn cleaning before it gone spinning.
Now Marco was not fond of work, but he was hungry for a hot dinner.
I'm not afraid to go down the chimney because it's my Disney. Lead me to it before I can't find.
Armed with straw brooms for cleaning, Marco clambered up the slide of the cottage and onto the roof.
You must be proud to have find chimney alone.
It's handsome, but it's troublesome. We are grateful for your help. We'll give you a good review on Yelp.
Go.
I'll need a mouth full of teeth for this job, hoping I don't get robbed.
At first, all went. Marco swept the sides of the enormous chimney, sending out a cold cloud of soot. But halfway down, he became wedged sideways and couldn't wiggle loose.
I'm stuck because I'm thinking of a duck.
Try thinking or you'll start sinking.
He let go of the broom and then clattered to the hearth below. Then, as he wriggled and squirmed to free himself, the traveling bag fell from his shoulder. The bag landed on the heath with a plop. That was the moment the Gluck sisters had waited for. They pounced on the bag together, and Minnie snatched it from Hannah.
Why fly? I'll bet you have never done anything. That's why you are sinking.
Hannah snatched the bag, turned it upside down, and shook it.
No good ever comes from working that what I'm thinking.
Nothing, something. This bag is full of nothing. It must be filled of something.
That's right. So you want to fight? Everything you have done is for nothing. You did it because you thought I have something. I'll outsmart you. You are a fool.
You are not the only thinker here. You can now disappear.